Have you ever wondered what it feels like when the person who broke you still has the keys to your life? I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and for the past 15 years, I've worked with people trying to untangle themselves from complicated relationships. What I've learned is this: the end of a romantic relationship with someone who has narcissistic traits doesn't mean the end of their influence. Sometimes it's just the beginning of a different kind of trap. Jordan Matthews thought she had it all figured out. She'd ended the romantic relationship. She'd moved out. She'd even started therapy. But there was one thing she couldn't bring herself to do: cut ties completely with Tyler. "We can still be friends," he'd said, his voice soft and almost wounded. "I mean, we were best friends before anything else, right?" And Jordan had believed him. She'd wanted to believe him. After all, they'd shared 3 years together, 3 years of inside jokes, late-night conversations, and memories that felt too precious to just throw away. But what Jordan didn't know yet is that staying friends with someone who hurt you isn't friendship at all. It's a continuation of the same pattern, just with a different name. The thing is, when we're in it, we can't always see what's happening. We tell ourselves we're being mature, evolved, that we're taking the high road. But sometimes what we're really doing is keeping ourselves trapped in a cycle we don't even recognize anymore. Jordan's story isn't unique, but it is important because it shows us exactly what happens when we try to hold on to someone who never really knew how to hold us properly in the first place. Let me tell you what happened and why it matters. Jordan had met Tyler at a community art gallery opening in Portland 5 years ago. She was 28, working as a freelance graphic designer, trying to make a name for herself in a competitive market. He was 32, charming, and seemingly fascinated by her work. "Your designs," he'd say, leaning close to study her portfolio on her phone, "they're different. They have this emotional quality that most designers miss." It felt like he really saw her, not just her work, but her. Within weeks, they were inseparable. Tyler had a way of making Jordan feel like the most interesting person in any room. He'd introduce her to his friends as the most talented designer you'll ever meet. He'd stay up late listening to her talk about her dreams. He'd text her throughout the day just to check in. For the first 6 months, Jordan felt like she'd found her person, someone who understood her, someone who valued her creativity and supported her ambitions. But then things started to shift, slowly at first. So slowly, she almost didn't notice. Tyler began criticizing her work. Small comments at first. "I don't know, that color scheme feels a bit basic, don't you think?" Or, "Are you sure that's the direction you want to go? It's just not as innovative as your earlier stuff." Jordan found herself second-guessing everything. She'd redesigned projects multiple times, seeking Tyler's approval. And when he finally praised something, the relief was overwhelming, addictive even. "That's more like it," he'd say. And Jordan would feel her whole body relax. She'd feel like herself again, at least for a little while. But the praise was becoming rarer, and the criticism was getting sharper. Their friends started noticing too. At dinner parties, Tyler would make jokes at Jordan's expense. "Jordan's so scatterbrained," he'd laugh, telling a story about how she'd forgotten to pay a bill. "I honestly don't know how she runs a business." Everyone would laugh, including Jordan, because if she didn't laugh, if she said it bothered her, Tyler would look hurt, confused. "I'm just joking. You know I love you. Why are you so sensitive?" And Jordan would feel guilty. Like she was the problem, like she was overreacting. This went on for 2 years. Jordan's confidence eroded, her business suffered. She stopped pitching new clients because she didn't trust her own judgment anymore. She found herself constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid triggering Tyler's moods, because Tyler's moods were unpredictable. One day, he'd be the sweet, attentive boyfriend who'd surprised her at the gallery opening. The next, he'd give her the silent treatment for some perceived slight she couldn't even identify. Jordan felt like she was going crazy. Nothing she did was ever quite right, and yet she couldn't imagine her life without him. Isn't that interesting? How we can feel trapped by someone who tells us they love us. But here's where the story takes a turn, because Jordan did eventually find the strength to end the romantic relationship after her best friend Maya sat her down and gently pointed out all the ways Tyler was manipulating her. After weeks of therapy sessions where her therapist helped her see the patterns of control, Jordan ended it. She moved into a small studio apartment across town. She cried for weeks. She missed Tyler so intensely it felt physical. And then he called. 2 months after the breakup. His voice was warm, familiar, safe almost. "I've been thinking," he said. "We were friends before we were anything else, and I miss that. I miss my friend. Don't you?" Jordan did miss him. She missed having someone who knew her so well, someone who remembered her coffee order and the name of her childhood dog, and all the little details that made her feel seen. "I don't want to lose you completely," Tyler continued. "Can't we just be friends? No pressure, no expectations, just friendship." It sounded reasonable, mature even. Jordan's therapist had warned her against this, but Jordan thought she could handle it. She thought she'd learned enough to protect herself this time. So she said yes. And that's when everything got more complicated. At first, being friends with Tyler felt good. They'd meet for coffee every couple of weeks, text occasionally, keep things light. But gradually, subtly, the old pattern started creeping back in. Tyler would ask about Jordan's dating life. "So, anyone new?" He'd ask, his tone casual. But when Jordan mentioned she'd gone on a date, Tyler's whole demeanor would change. "Really? That guy? I mean, if you're into that type, I guess." Jordan would feel deflated. She'd start questioning her judgment again. Or Tyler would have a crisis, a job problem, a family issue, and he'd reach out to Jordan because "you're the only one who really understands me." Jordan would drop everything. She'd spend hours on the phone listening to him, offering advice, trying to help. But when Jordan had a crisis, Tyler was suddenly busy. Or he'd listen for 5 minutes before steering the conversation back to himself. That reminds me of when I went through something similar. And Jordan found herself right back in the old dynamic, giving everything, getting crumbs in return, and somehow feeling like that was normal, like that was what friendship looked like. But there was something else happening too, something Jordan didn't recognize at first. She was stuck, emotionally stuck. She couldn't fully move on with her life because Tyler still occupied so much space in her head, in her heart. She'd go on dates, but no one measured up because she was still comparing everyone to the version of Tyler she remembered from the beginning, the charming, attentive version, not the version who'd systematically dismantled her confidence. She'd get work opportunities, but she'd still hear Tyler's critical voice in her head. "Are you sure you're ready for that? Don't you think that's a bit ambitious?" And Jordan realized something terrifying. Ending the romantic relationship hadn't freed her. She was still trapped, just in a different kind of cage. Here's what was really happening, though Jordan couldn't see it yet. By staying friends with Tyler, she was keeping the trauma bond alive. That powerful, confusing attachment that forms when someone alternates between treating you well and treating you poorly. The human brain gets addicted to those intermittent rewards, that unpredictable pattern of affection and cruelty. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. You never know when the payoff is coming, but you keep pulling the lever, keep hoping, keep trying. And Tyler was still pulling Jordan's levers. He was still the source of both her pain and her occasional comfort. She was still organizing her emotional life around him, still seeking his approval, still feeling devastated when he withheld it. But the thing Jordan didn't understand yet was that Tyler wasn't capable of being a real friend. Not to her, not to anyone. Because Tyler had something that went deeper than just bad behavior or poor communication skills. Tyler exhibited traits consistent with narcissistic personality disorder. Now, I want to be clear about something here. I never met Tyler. I can't diagnose him. But what Jordan described, the patterns she experienced, they align with what we see clinically in individuals with these traits. People with narcissistic traits have an impaired ability to empathize. They struggle to recognize or care about other people's feelings and needs. They need constant admiration, and they have a grandiose sense of self-importance that's often covering up deep insecurity. They can be incredibly charming, especially at first, but maintaining genuine reciprocal relationships, that's not something they're typically capable of, because a real relationship requires seeing the other person as a full human being, not just as a source of validation or as an extension of themselves. And that's what Tyler couldn't do. He couldn't see Jordan as a separate person with her own needs and value. She was still just a supply, a source of attention and validation, even in friendship. But Jordan was about to discover all of this the hard way. 6 months into their friendship, Jordan met someone, Ryan, a software engineer she'd connected with at a networking event. He was kind, thoughtful, the kind of person who actually asked about her day and listened to the answer. Jordan was excited, cautiously hopeful. She mentioned Ryan to Tyler during one of their coffee meetups. Tyler's reaction was immediate and dramatic. His face fell. He set down his cup hard enough that coffee sloshed over the rim. "Wow," he said, "that's fast. Don't you think you should take more time to heal before jumping into something new?" Jordan felt her stomach tighten. "We've been broken up for 8 months." "Right, but..." Tyler shook his head, looking concerned. "I just worry about you. You have a tendency to rush into things, to ignore red flags. Remember what happened with that guy before me?" Jordan felt a familiar shame wash over her. Tyler was right. She had ignored red flags before. But wait, the red flags she'd ignored were about Tyler, weren't they? "I'm just looking out for you," Tyler continued, reaching across the table to touch her hand. "As your friend, you know I only want what's best for you." Jordan left that coffee shop feeling confused, guilty, like maybe she was making a mistake with Ryan, like maybe she needed to slow down. Over the next few weeks, Tyler ramped up his contact. He'd text Jordan late at night. "Can't sleep, thinking about our old conversations. Remember when we talked about moving to Barcelona together?" He'd show up at places he knew she'd be here. "Oh, what a coincidence. I didn't know you'd be here." And he started having more crises. "I'm really struggling right now. You're the only person who gets me. Can we talk?" Jordan found herself canceling dates with Ryan, cutting phone calls short. "I'm sorry, a friend needs me." But that friend never seemed to need her at convenient times, only when she was trying to build something new, something healthy. Ryan noticed. "This Tyler guy," he said one evening, his voice gentle but concerned. "How much space is he taking up in your life?" Jordan got defensive. "He's just a friend, an old friend. I can't just abandon him." But that night, alone in her apartment, Jordan felt something shift. A small crack in the wall she'd built around the truth. She thought about all the times Tyler had needed her, and all the times she'd needed him and he'd been unavailable. She thought about how his crises always seemed to happen right when she was happy, right when she was moving forward. She thought about how he still made subtle digs at her work, her appearance, her choices, all couched in concern, all presented as love. And Jordan realized something that made her feel sick. Tyler didn't want her back romantically. He just didn't want her to fully leave. He wanted her available, on call, there to validate him while he remained free to come and go as he pleased. This wasn't friendship. This was control with a different name. But admitting that meant admitting she'd wasted another 8 months, another piece of her life, another chunk of her healing. And that was almost too painful to bear. Isn't it strange how we'll tolerate pain we know rather than face the pain of letting go? Jordan made an emergency appointment with her therapist. She needed help because she could feel herself being pulled back in. And this time, she was aware enough to be terrified. Dr. Sarah Chen, Jordan's therapist, listened carefully as Jordan explained what had been happening. The late-night texts, the convenient crises, the way Tyler undermined every good thing in her life while claiming to support her. Jordan, Dr. Chen said, her voice calm but clear, what you're describing is consistent with what we call a trauma bond. Are you familiar with that term? Jordan shook her head. She felt tears building behind her eyes. A trauma bond is an unhealthy attachment that forms between someone who's been hurt and the person who hurt them. It happens through a cycle of abuse followed by affection. It's incredibly powerful and incredibly hard to break. Jordan felt something inside her shift, like a lens coming into focus. Dr. Chen continued, here's what makes trauma bonds so insidious. The unpredictability, the intermittent reinforcement. Your brain actually becomes addicted to the pattern. You're literally experiencing a biochemical addiction to this person, to the hope that this time he'll be the person you need him to be. Jordan thought about all those times Tyler had been cruel, then suddenly sweet, critical, then suddenly complimentary, absent, then suddenly intensely present. The way each moment of kindness had felt like coming up for air after drowning. But we're just friends now, Jordan protested weakly. It's different. Is it? Dr. Chen asked gently. Or has the pattern just adapted? He's still controlling your emotional state. He's still the person whose approval you seek, whose judgment you internalize, whose needs take priority over your own. That's not friendship. That's the trauma bond wearing a disguise. And suddenly, Jordan could see it, all of it, the entire pattern laid out like a map. Tyler hadn't changed. The relationship hadn't changed. Only the label had changed. And that label had made it easier for Jordan to stay trapped because she could tell herself and others that she'd moved on, that she was strong enough to maintain a friendship with an ex. But the truth was, she hadn't moved on at all. She just found a new way to stay stuck. Here's what you need to understand about people with narcissistic traits, Dr. Chen said, leaning forward. They're not capable of the kind of friendship you're hoping for. Not because they don't want to be, but because their personality structure doesn't allow for genuine reciprocity, for true empathy. Dr. Chen pulled out a notepad. According to the diagnostic criteria, individuals with narcissistic personality disorder show a pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, and lack of empathy. They have a distorted sense of self-importance. They believe they're special and unique. They require excessive admiration. They have a sense of entitlement. They exploit others, and they lack the ability to recognize or care about other people's feelings. Jordan felt each word land like a stone. She thought about all the time she'd explained away Tyler's behavior, all the time she'd made excuses. He's just going through a hard time. He's under a lot of stress. He doesn't mean it that way. Can they change? Jordan asked, her voice small. With therapy? Dr. Chen's expression was compassionate but honest. Treatment for narcissistic personality disorder is extremely difficult. Most people with this disorder don't believe anything is wrong with them. They don't seek treatment. And when they do, they often drop out quickly. Because therapy requires vulnerability, self-reflection, admitting flaws. These are things that threaten their entire sense of self. Jordan felt grief wash over her, deep, aching grief. Not just for the relationship she'd lost, but for the friendship she'd been hoping for. The friendship that never really existed. So what do I do? How do I break this bond? The truth is, Dr. Chen said, the only way to truly break a trauma bond with someone like this is to go completely no contact. No phone calls, no texts, no coffee dates, no checking their social media. Complete disconnection. But that feels so harsh. It feels so cold. I know it does, Dr. Chen said gently. But here's what I want you to understand. Maintaining contact with Tyler isn't kind. Not to him, and especially not to yourself. You're not helping him by staying in his orbit. You're just feeding the pattern. And you're definitely not helping yourself. You're keeping yourself in a state of suspended animation, unable to fully heal, unable to fully move forward. Jordan sat with that, the truth of it, the weight of it. What about closure? She asked. Don't I need to have one final conversation to explain why I'm doing this? Dr. Chen shook her head. With someone who has narcissistic traits, that conversation rarely goes the way you hope. They'll either make it about them, convince you that you're overreacting, or love bomb you back into the relationship. The cleanest break is a complete break. No explanation, no debate, just gone. Jordan felt panic rising. But what if he needs me? What if something happens to him? Jordan, Dr. Chan said, her voice firm now, Tyler has other people in his life. He has resources. He's an adult. You are not responsible for his well-being, especially not at the expense of your own. That hit Jordan hard because she'd been making herself responsible for Tyler's emotional state for 5 years, even after the breakup, especially after the breakup, actually. What you're experiencing is what we see all the time in trauma bonds. The victim often feels more responsible for the abuser than the abuser feels for themselves. You're worried about how Tyler will cope without you. But has Tyler ever worried about how you cope? About what his behavior cost you? Jordan thought about that. Really thought about it. And the answer was clear. No. Tyler had never really considered Jordan's well-being, except in how it affected him. When Jordan was upset, Tyler got annoyed, inconvenienced. Why are you always so emotional, he'd say. Or, I can't deal with your trauma right now. But when Tyler was upset, Jordan was expected to drop everything, to soothe him, to fix him, to make it better. That wasn't friendship. It wasn't even love. It was a one-way street disguised as a relationship. What happens if I do this? Jordan asked. If I go no contact? The first few weeks will be hard, Dr. Chan said honestly. You'll have withdrawal symptoms, anxiety, an overwhelming urge to reach out. You'll second-guess yourself constantly. But if you can push through that, something remarkable happens. You'll start to wake up, like coming out of a fog. You'll start to see how much energy was going toward managing this person, and you'll have that energy back for yourself. Jordan felt something like hope stirring, small and fragile, but there. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down every time Tyler hurt you, every criticism, every manipulation, every time he made you feel small. I want you to create a physical record, because when you're tempted to reach out, when you start romanticizing who he was, I want you to read that list. I want you to remember the truth. Jordan nodded. She could do that. She needed to do that. And I want you to build a support system, Dr. Chen continued. Real friends, people who reciprocate, who care about your well-being as much as you care about theirs. I want you to experience what healthy relationships actually feel like, so you have something to compare this to. Over the next hour, Dr. Chen and Jordan worked out a plan. Jordan would send Tyler a brief message. Not an explanation, not a discussion, just a simple statement. I need to prioritize my own healing. I won't be in contact going forward. I wish you well. Then she would block Tyler on everything. Phone, social media, email, everything. He'll try to get around it, Dr. Chen warned. New numbers, messages through mutual friends. He might even show up places. You need to be prepared for that, and you need to stay strong. Jordan felt scared, but also, for the first time in years, she felt a glimmer of clarity, of certainty. She had to do this for herself, for the life she wanted to build, for the person she wanted to become. That night, Jordan typed out the message. Her hands shook. She read it over 20 times. She almost deleted it. But then she thought about Ryan, about the way he listened when she talked, about how he never made her feel stupid or oversensitive, about being with him felt easy in a way that being with Tyler never had. She thought about her work, about the projects she'd been too afraid to pitch, about the creativity Tyler had slowly strangled with his constant criticism. She thought about herself, about who she'd been before Tyler, and who she might become if she finally, truly let him go. Jordan hit send. Then she blocked Tyler's number before she could change her mind. And then she cried, deep, wrenching sobs. Because even though she knew this was right, it still felt like ripping off a part of herself. The first week was hell. Jordan checked her phone constantly, expecting Tyler to find a way through. She jolted every time someone knocked on her door. She found herself composing texts to him in her head, then remembering she couldn't send them. She felt guilty, cruel, like she'd abandoned someone who needed her. But Dr. Chen had prepared her for this. Those feelings are part of the trauma bond, she'd said. They're not truth, they're programming, and you can unlearn programming. By week 2, something started to shift. Jordan noticed she had more energy. She wasn't spending hours analyzing Tyler's texts, trying to figure out what he really meant. She wasn't bracing herself for the next criticism or crisis. She started pitching new clients. She reconnected with friends she'd neglected. She went on actual dates with Ryan without canceling halfway through. And slowly, steadily, Jordan started to feel like herself again. Not who she'd been before Tyler, but someone new, someone stronger, someone who understood her own worth in a way she never had before. Tyler did try to reach out. A new phone number 2 weeks in, an email a month later, a message through Maya that Jordan shut down immediately. "I'm not discussing this," she told her friend firmly. "If he contacts you again, please don't pass it along." Maya respected that. Real friends do. 3 months after going no contact, Jordan was having dinner with Ryan when she realized something. She hadn't thought about Tyler in 2 days. 2 whole days where he hadn't occupied space in her mind. "You seem different," Ryan said, smiling at her across the table. Lighter, somehow. Jordan felt tears prick her eyes. Good tears this time. "I feel different," she admitted. "I feel like I'm finally here, present, instead of always being half somewhere else." "I like this version of you," Ryan said. Then he caught himself. "I mean, I liked you before, but you seem more you, if that makes sense." It made perfect sense, because Jordan was finally becoming herself. The self that had been buried under years of trying to be what Tyler needed. Trying to be enough for someone who would never see her as enough. Not because she wasn't, but because he couldn't. 6 months after going no contact, Jordan landed her biggest client yet. A major tech company that wanted her to lead their entire rebranding. It was the kind of opportunity she dreamed about. The old Jordan would have immediately wondered what Tyler would think, would have braced for his criticism, would have second-guessed whether she was really ready. But this Jordan, she celebrated. She called her friends, she treated herself to a nice dinner, and she never once thought about what Tyler's reaction would be, because it didn't matter. He wasn't part of her life anymore, and that was the healthiest decision she'd ever made. Now, I want to be clear about something. Jordan's journey wasn't linear. She had setbacks, moments of doubt, days where she missed Tyler intensely and questioned whether she'd done the right thing. That's normal. That's part of healing from a trauma bond. The important thing is that she stayed the course. She didn't break no contact, even when every fiber of her being wanted to. She continued therapy. She built genuine, healthy relationships. And slowly, the grip Tyler had on her psyche loosened. A year after going no contact, Jordan ran into Tyler at a mutual friend's birthday party. She'd known there was a chance he'd be there. She'd prepared with Dr. Chen, but still, seeing him in person made her heart race. Tyler approached her immediately, that familiar smile, that warm voice. "Jordan, wow, you look amazing. Can we talk? I've really missed you." And Jordan felt it, that pull, that old pattern trying to activate, the part of her that wanted to say yes, to give him another chance, to believe that maybe this time would be different. But then she looked at Ryan, standing across the room, watching her with concern, but not controlling her. She thought about the life she'd built, the peace she'd found, the self-respect she'd reclaimed. "No, Tyler," she said, her voice calm and clear. "We can't. Take care of yourself." And she walked away, directly to Ryan, who wrapped an arm around her and asked, "You okay?" "Yeah," Jordan said, surprised to find it was true. "I really am." Later that night, Jordan told Dr. Chen about the encounter. She said, "I thought it would be harder. I thought I'd feel more. But mostly, I just felt nothing, like looking at a stranger." Dr. Chen smiled. "That's what healing looks like. Not fireworks, not dramatic closure, just indifference. He doesn't have power over you anymore. He's just a person who hurt you, a person you've moved on from." And that's when Jordan understood something crucial. She didn't need Tyler to apologize, to acknowledge what he'd done, to validate her experience. She didn't need closure from him because she'd given it to herself by walking away, by protecting herself, by choosing her own well-being over his needs. That was the closure. That was the ending. That was her taking back her power. So what actually happens when you stay friends with a narcissist who hurt you? Let me break it down from a clinical perspective. First, you remain in the trauma bond. That powerful, confusing attachment doesn't disappear just because you change the relationship label. You're still cycling through the same pattern, still seeking the approval of someone who withholds it strategically, still organizing your emotional life around someone who can't reciprocate. Second, you prevent yourself from healing. Real healing requires distance. It requires breaking the patterns. As long as that person is in your life, you're constantly being re-triggered. Your nervous system can't settle. Your brain can't form new, healthier neural pathways. Third, you block yourself from new relationships. You can't fully invest in someone new when you're still emotionally entangled with someone old. You're comparing everyone to an idealized version of your abuser. And that's not fair to you or to potential partners. Fourth, you reinforce your own trauma patterns. Every time you accept crumbs of affection, every time you tolerate disrespect, every time you prioritize their needs over yours, you're teaching your brain that this is what relationships look like, that this is what you deserve. And fifth, you give that person continued access to hurt you. They know your vulnerabilities. They know exactly what buttons to push. And whether they do it consciously or not, they will keep pushing those buttons because that's the pattern, that's the dance. And it doesn't change just because you've renamed it friendship. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, but what if they really have changed? What if they're getting help? Here's the hard truth. Genuine change in someone with narcissistic personality traits is rare. Not impossible, but rare. And if it does happen, it takes years of intensive therapy that most people with these traits won't pursue. But even if they have changed, that doesn't mean you owe them your presence. You don't have to stick around to see if the change is real. You don't have to be the testing ground for their personal growth. Your job isn't to rehabilitate someone who hurt you. Your job is to protect and heal yourself. If you're currently in a friendship with someone who hurt you romantically, I want you to ask yourself some questions. Be honest with yourself. This is for you, not for them. Does this friendship feel equal? Do they show up for you the way you show up for them? Or are you always the one giving, supporting, listening, while they take? Do you feel better or worse after spending time with them? Do you feel energized or drained, confident or insecure? Are you able to fully move on with your life, or are you stuck, comparing everyone to them, waiting for them to finally see your worth? Do they respect your boundaries, or do they push, manipulate, guilt trip when you try to create space for yourself? And here's the big one. If a friend described this relationship to you, what would you tell them? Would you think it was healthy? Would you encourage them to stay? We often have clearer perspective on other people's situations than our own. So step outside yourself for a moment. Look at this relationship as if it belonged to someone you love. What would you want for them? If the answer is that you'd want them to leave, to protect themselves, to choose their own well-being, then you know what you need to do. And I know it's hard. I know it feels impossible. I know you're scared of the grief, the loneliness, the void they'll leave behind. But I also know this. That void, it's actually space. Space for you to grow. Space for real friendships to form. Space for healing to happen. Space for the life you deserve to unfold. The person who hurt you doesn't get to be your friend just because they want to be. Friendship is a privilege, not a right. And they haven't earned that privilege. You don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your emotional energy, not your continued presence. Nothing. What you owe is to yourself. You owe yourself protection. You owe yourself the chance to heal fully. You owe yourself the opportunity to build a life free from their influence. And yes, they might be hurt when you leave. They might tell mutual friends that you're cruel, unforgiving, that you've abandoned them. That's the narcissist playbook. They'll paint themselves as the victim. They always do. But here's what matters. You'll know the truth. And the people who really care about you will know the truth. The ones who don't believe you, they either don't know the full story or they're not people you need in your life anyway. Real friends support your healing. They don't pressure you to maintain relationships that harm you. They don't tell you to be the bigger person or to give someone who hurt you another chance. They protect you fiercely. They validate your experience. They help you stay strong when you're tempted to go back. If you're reading this and recognizing yourself in Jordan's story, I want you to know something. You're not weak for staying as long as you did. You're not stupid for trying to make the friendship work. You're not crazy for feeling confused about what's happening. You're human, and you got caught in something that's designed to catch humans. Trauma bonds are powerful. They override logic. They hijack your nervous system. Getting out isn't a matter of just deciding to leave. It's a process, a difficult, painful process that requires support and time. But you can do it. Jordan did it. Thousands of people before you have done it, and thousands more will do it in the future. It starts with a decision. The decision to prioritize yourself, to choose your own well-being over someone else's feelings, to walk away from a relationship that cost you your peace. And then it continues with commitment. Commitment to no contact, even when it's hard. Commitment to therapy or coaching or whatever support you need. Commitment to building a life that doesn't revolve around someone who can't truly see you. There will be hard days. Days when you miss them so intensely you barely can breathe. Days when you doubt yourself. Days when you're tempted to reach out, to check their social media, to see if they've changed. But each day you don't contact them, you're healing. Each day you choose yourself, you're rewiring your brain. Each day you stay the course, you're becoming stronger. And eventually, one day you'll realize you haven't thought about them in a while. You'll meet someone new and not compare them. You'll accomplish something great and not wonder what your ex would think. You'll be free, truly free. And that freedom will be worth every difficult moment it took to get there. Jordan is free now. She's building a life with Ryan. Her business is thriving. She has real friendships, reciprocal relationships, where she gives and receives in equal measure. She still sees Dr. Chen occasionally, just to check in and maintain her progress. And sometimes, late at night, she thinks about Tyler, about what might have been if he'd been different, if she'd been different. But mostly, she doesn't think about him at all. He's become a chapter in her story, an important one, because it taught her what she won't accept anymore. But just a chapter, not the whole book. And here's what Jordan wants you to know if you're in a similar situation right now. The person you're holding on to, they're not going to suddenly become the friend you need them to be. They've already shown you who they are. Believe them. If this story resonated with you, if you found yourself nodding along, recognizing your own patterns, hit that like button. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. Because sometimes we need permission to let go. And I'm giving you that permission right now. You don't have to keep hurting yourself to prove you're a good person. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. You don't have to sacrifice your peace for someone who would never sacrifice theirs for you. And if you want to hear more stories like this, more real conversations about healing and growth and the messy, complicated process of becoming yourself, subscribe to this channel. Because we're in this together, and you don't have to figure it out alone. The last thing I'll say is this. 3 years after going no contact, Jordan got a message, not from Tyler directly, but from a mutual friend. Apparently, Tyler was getting married, and he wanted to invite Jordan to the wedding. He said he's changed, the friend relayed. He's in therapy now, he wants to make amends. Jordan felt her stomach drop. For a moment, just a moment, she considered it. Maybe he had changed. Maybe she should give him a chance to apologize, to offer closure. But then she remembered something Dr. Chen had told her. Real change doesn't need an audience. If someone has genuinely changed, they respect your boundaries without requiring your presence to validate their growth. So, Jordan sent a polite message through the friend. I'm glad he's doing well, but I won't be attending and I'd prefer no further contact. And that was it. No drama, no explanation, just a boundary clearly stated and firmly held. The friend pushed back a little bit. Don't you think you're being harsh? He really has changed. His fiancée is lovely. They seem happy. And Jordan felt something she'd never felt before when it came to Tyler. Complete indifference. I'm sure they are happy, and I wish them well. But that doesn't change what I need, which is distance. That night, Jordan told Ryan about the invitation. She half expected him to be jealous or upset, but he just pulled her close and said, I'm proud of you for knowing what you need and asking for it. That's what healthy love looks like, Jordan realized. Not someone who needs you to be small so they can feel big, but someone who celebrates your boundaries, your growth, your healing. Someone who doesn't see your past pain as a threat, but as part of your story, the story of how you became who you are. So here's the truth that nobody wants to hear, but everyone needs to understand. You cannot be friends with someone who fundamentally doesn't respect you. You cannot maintain a healthy relationship with someone who sees you as a supporting character in their story rather than the protagonist of your own. In trying to do so, it doesn't make you compassionate. It doesn't make you evolved. It makes you stuck. The kindest thing you can do for yourself, and honestly for them too, is to let go completely, not halfway, not we'll check in occasionally, not We'll be friendly if we run into each other, but fully, truly, permanently, because anything less is just a slow bleed, a continuous drain on your energy, your peace, your potential. And you deserve better than that. You deserve relationships where you don't have to walk on eggshells, where you don't have to decode hidden meanings, where love, whether romantic or platonic, feels safe, consistent, real. Jordan has that now, and if you're willing to do the hard work of letting go, of healing, of choosing yourself, you can have it too. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. I promise you that. Because on the other side of letting go isn't emptiness, it's freedom, it's peace, it's the chance to finally, truly become yourself. And that version of you, the one who's healed, who's whole, who knows their worth and won't settle for less, that version is worth fighting for. So fight for yourself, choose yourself, protect yourself, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because you're worth it. You've always been worth it. You just need to believe it. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real lesson here, that the love you were searching for in someone who couldn't give it, it was inside you all along. You just had to clear away the noise to hear it. So, what's your biggest fear when it comes to letting go of someone who hurt you? What's keeping you stuck? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Because healing doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in community. And you're not alone in this. You never were.